Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, PWR Friday. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside Arda Ocal. Arda, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
As we talk about TNA Impact Wrestling, just before SmackDown is to go on the air tonight, and last night we saw the follow-up, Dixie Carter, AJ Styles. Well, let's back up a week. Last week on Impact, Dixie Carter turns heel, I guess you could say, and tells AJ Styles he is not the phenomenal one, he is the marginal one, and he is only good because she made him good. It's her company, it's her ring, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people not receiving that heel turn, if you will, very well, but it is a step in a different direction for TNA, which you can't necessarily fault them for, at least in my opinion.
No. I mean, listen, TNA has a history of heel turns for the sake of swerving the internet audience and seeing this kind of behavior in the past. So I take a lot of direction from TNA with a grain of salt. I at the end of the day, what draws me to TNA is the in-ring product. I like watching guys like AJ Styles and Bobby Roode wrestle in the ring. Chris Sabin, Bully Ray. I mean, there's some really great positives about TNA. I'm a fan of Dave Lagana and his writing. I think that he's a very talented writer, especially in pro wrestling, and Friends, in which he has written one episode. But unfortunately, there are also some negatives which sort of overshadow the positives in that company. A lot of people sort of tend to weigh on the negatives instead of the positives, and that's just a product of professional wrestling fans in general.
A lot of easy or not so easy comparisons to Stephanie McMahon, a woman in wrestling in a powerful role. Are those comparisons fair with what Dixie tried to do last Thursday and what she did last night versus what Stephanie has done for a very long time?
Well, if her husband ends up on screen and starts saying it's best for business, if Surge is telling us what's best for business, then I think that we can make that comparison completely. At the end of the day, pro wrestling has always had a sort of situation where there's a position of power going against an underdog. I mean, that's not a new story. So just the fact that the person who's in the position of power happens to be female in both companies right now, you know, Stephanie McMahon being in a position of power, Dixie Carter being in a position of power, I wouldn't read too much into it unless we see direct correlations and direct lines or direct ideas being stolen. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a loose comparison, isn't it?
I think it's a very loose comparison. I don't think it's a fair comparison either, especially when you look at the fact that Stephanie grew up in this business. This business is in her blood from her father, Vince McMahon. Dixie Carter took possession of a company via a series of circumstances. Now, I'm not disputing that she is an avid wrestling fan, but she doesn't have that same lineage as a Stephanie McMahon does. Well, She doesn't have it as natural as a Stephanie McMahon does. So that makes the comparisons very unfair. But can Dixie Carter pull this off? Can her versus AJ Styles provide enough doubt going into Bound for Glory that he will not defeat Bully Ray to become the new champion?
We'll have to wait and see. I really hope that we see some strong promos moving into this. As Jerry Jarrett once said, personal issues draw money. If we see personal issues and if we believe that what we're seeing on screen is a personal issue, then that will drum up interest.
Speaking of Jerry Jarrett, he also recently said he doesn't understand why TNA is still in business.
And coming from the guy who created TNA.
You know, you talk about personal issues making money, drawing business.
We're cool, right?
Monday night. Yeah, well, we're great.
Oh, okay,
we're great.
Cool.
That other guy, the guy you replaced, Dave Hero.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we never
heat magnet.
We don't ever need him back.
Hashtag heat magnet.
This past Monday night on Raw, you were live in attendance as we talked about yesterday. We saw that personal issue, if you will, come to a head with Cody Rhodes and Goldust jumping the rail and attacking the Shield. How did that come off to the live audience, and what was your thought on it Monday night?
My first thought was I'm impressed Goldust was able to wear his makeup for this attack.
With
but
a hoodie.
when I put that aside, obviously for marketing purposes, it's easier to distinguish him. I loved it. It came out of the blue. I did not expect that to happen. Many people in attendance, if not all, didn't expect it to happen. It was a great moment. And I like the whole subplot of the Rhodes family having issue with this regime, this new McMahon-Helmsley era. I think that this is a very compelling story. There's many different layers. The Big Show, Cody Rhodes, Daniel Bryan, there's many different things happening, so it makes it all the more compelling.
Now, we've been friends for a very long time.
We have.
You know that I feel that Cody Rhodes is one of the future stars in this business. What do you think the end game is with Cody Rhodes and this Rhodes family story?
He gets rehired Goldust gets rehired.
Yes.
Dusty Rhodes gets rehired.
Yes.
And they win the tag team championships under the Freebird rule.
The Freebird rule.
Maybe the last thing won't necessarily happen. The Freebird rule is when you have 3 or more members of a team, the Spirit Squad and Demolition have done this as well, when you become the tag team champions and you don't know which of the members of the team will be defending the gold in that particular title defense.
Yes.
If that happens, I would pop. I think it would be hilarious, but I don't think it will happen. I do think that they'll get their jobs back. And I will say, I was there in Toronto for Randy Orton versus Goldust.
Yeah.
Goldust would be a welcome addition to SmackDown, in my opinion. He would be a welcome addition on the road for SmackDown Live events, which severely need talent like Goldust. And I think that both of them obviously have a home in WWE. I'd like to see them return full-time.
He could almost play the role of a Christian, who is just that guy you go to and will look great in any match, anytime, any place. Now, you said Toronto.
Toronto,
Your home.
Yeah.
Toronto is in a province.
Correct, Ontario.
In a country.
Canada.
Can you say it in complete form for me, please? I'm just doing a little survey here.
Okay, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Well, what did I say? Now, we don't pronounce the second T. The indigenous people of Toronto do not say Toronto. We say Toronto because that is the more home version of.
I'm more concerned with the fact that there were no pauses.
From Toronto, Ontario, Canada?
Canada.
Well, this isn't Lance Storm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Like, we're not.
Are you being serious?
For a minute, yeah. For a minute.
That's PWR Friday, folks. Tomorrow, PWR Prime Time. It's our 16th season premiere. Wow. 16 years on the air. Artie, you're going to be with me here in the studio for that, and we're going to take a unique approach to that episode. We're going to look at the state of WWE and the state of TNA, because there's a lot to talk about. A lot of big names gone in WWE right now, and one big name on his way out in TNA, in addition to 2 other big names who left last week. So we're going to sort of dissect and reassemble those 2 companies and look at what the next few months are going to look like for both WWE and TNA.
And will we do a state of Dave Hero?
We will provide an injury update on Dave Hero and his
Love you, buddy.
Surgery that was completed successfully yesterday on his foot. So we will do that.
I can't believe.
Can you call him? Can you get him on the phone?
I can't believe he wanted to become a woman. I mean, that's just unbelievable. I can't believe. Congratulations on. I support you 100%. But like, it just came out of blue. It just came out of the blue.
It came down to 2 people that could fill his chair. It was between you and Justin LaBar. He picked you.
Oh, thank
Obvious
goodness.
reasons, right?
Justin LaBar.
That's PWR Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow for Prime Time.